I'm just gonna come clean, folks. This is one of those things where I'm late to the party, and I really don't know what to say other than nothing was unpacked at the time. Like, a lot of this stuff was in my office, but it wasn't unpacked, and I hadn't arranged it the way I like, and I hadn't really figured out a good way to set up my little recording corner here. So, I say corner, like, but I digress. So I'm just going to say that I'm a little late to the party, but I feel like I should talk about this anyway, because Hamilton is apparently a really big deal right now, and I didn't really prepare a script or anything, so there's going to be a lot of rambling. There's going to be a lot of my usual speech patterns that bug some people and possibly bug me when I edit this stuff, but in any case, just bear with me on this one. So, Hamilton, I'm just going to, as long as I'm coming clean here, I might as well just admit that musicals are really not my forte. I'm not like some expert on the musical theater. I couldn't tell you who's on Broadway right now and who's like gonna be a star someday or anything like that. That's not my arena. I mean, I do like a couple of musicals, like The Little Shop of Horrors is one of my favorites. Matt Stone and Trey Parker's The Book of Mormon is probably my favorite musical right now. But, you know, that's basically it. I like a couple of musicals, but it's not my arena of expertise, so please forgive me if it seems like Dum Dum over here doesn't know what he's talking about. This is a complete and total stranger coming into your world and making observations about how good or bad your world may seem, musical people, just saying. But my wife really wanted to see Hamilton, and I figured, you know what, I'm already punishing you by borrowing the TV and forcing you to sit through AEW Fyter Fest, so I mean, it's probably the least I can do is let you return the favor and subject me to your favorite pastime, right? I mean, worst case scenario, if this ends up hurting like hell, now we're even. Oh, man. And yeah, we're... so anyway, yeah. Hamilton. It is a rap musical, which immediately sets off a red flag for me, because I fucking hate rap. I hate rap more than you could ever imagine. Especially lately, with all these fucking 15-year-old kids getting onto SoundCloud and mumbling their way through a very uninspired song with like the most generic beat you could possibly manufacture. I think somebody said a lot of these guys use Fruity Loops to generate beats, but I don't know. I don't really mess with software because I actually play an actual instrument. Ocarina, baby! Yeah, that's a big market right there, the ocarina, but I digress. I don't really pay attention to rap. I fucking hate most people who are in rap right now. I could go into a rant about how Migos created a monster with a lot of the cliches from their little club that carry over even today, but I'm not really much of a guy to talk when it comes to music. I'm more of a movie guy anymore, so I will just leave that to somebody who actually knows what they're talking about and proceed onward. But let's be honest, rap musical did kind of set off some red flags, and I wasn't sure I was going to enjoy this because, you know, on top of the fact that I hate modern rap, a lot of people who aren't in rap that try to rap, you know, like a lot of those, like, 90s commercials where they try to be hip, they try to relate to the kids by rapping, and it just sounds so hokey and uninspired, almost more uninspired than the 15-year-old SoundCloud mumblebots right now, but that's kind of what I was thinking going into Hamilton, that it's going to be a whole bunch of this, and it's going to be so embarrassing, and honestly, it really wasn't. A lot of this was pretty good. Like, I understood what people were saying. Oh my god, these people enunciated while they were rapping. I haven't heard somebody enunciate while they rap since, like, I don't know, Fever 333? It's been a while. Oh, man. I will say that I'm not one to talk about historical accuracy or whether or not, you know, did this actually happen or is this just a myth? I mean, I don't know, but I will say it actually was an interesting story for the first act. I was engaged. I genuinely liked what I saw, and if I'm being entirely honest, King George was probably my favorite guy in the entire musical, if only because they gave him, like, this... They gave him one song for the entire musical. Like, they changed the verses, but it's the same song every single time. It even has that same da 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 da, and it's just, it's something to behold. Like, it's like, I know we hated King George, us American people, you know, we hated King George and we wanted to separate from him, but it's like several hundred years later, we still kind of hold that resentment and we make him look like a fool up there, you know, make him dance and make him sing a stupid song. And I mean, he doesn't even rap. That's a ringing endorsement right there. I'm kidding, I don't, but King George was definitely my favorite part of the musical in Act 1, and then we head into Act 2, and I kind of feel like Act 2 is where this musical kind of, I don't want to say it fell flat, but there were kind of a couple of bumps in the road where I was sitting personally, because, like, Act 1 was basically the Revolutionary War, and it was a solid narrative from start to finish, and, you know, it was like beginning, middle, end, you know, King George is like, fine, be your own country. Fuck you, I'm busy fighting France anyway, whatever. Yeah. But then Act 2 happened, and it didn't really feel like there was a plot anymore. It kind of felt more like there was a series of events, you know, like just kind of stapled together. And I understand that we're making a musical out of somebody's life, and that's basically what life is in the grand scheme of things, a series of random events stapled together, but the second act was not as good as the first act, if you ask me personally. I'm not saying the second act was bad, but I'd just say, compared to the first act, I kind of wasn't as invested. And it really didn't help that a lot of what was going on in the second act was recycled from the first act in terms of the songs. Like, there was a lot of, like, callback, I guess, for lack of a better term. Like, there were verses in songs from the first act that found their way into songs from the second act. Some were probably modified, but others were, like, just left as is, and I understand to some degree that that happens in musicals because it's, you know, it's a callback, but I felt like the second act of Hamilton was a little over-reliant, I guess, on some of that, and it was kind of something that stood out to me personally. But the second act, while it wasn't as good as the first act, the second act was also good, and I genuinely did like all of... okay, let me start that over. This is what it looks like when I don't work with a script, people. But, while the second act wasn't as good as the first act, I think the musical overall was pretty enjoyable. I did like a lot of what I saw, and honestly, I'm not going to give a hat score because it's not my arena. Musicals are not my arena. Also, I don't know, I would just say go see the musical for yourself. Like, obviously, between the pandemic and the fact that it is impossible to get tickets for Hamilton even now, like, even before the pandemic happened, it was impossible to get tickets for that show because it's just so damn popular. And now that I've actually seen it on Disney Plus, I can actually understand the hype, you know, I believe the hype now, so way to go, guys. You've made a believer out of me, I guess. So, yeah, that's basically all I really had to say about Hamilton. If you like it or don't like it, that's up to you, buddy. But I do hope that you like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell for all the Tommy Tealhack goodness that entails, and I'll see you next time.